Mahabharata is really important because in early 60s or even before that, Professor B.V. Lal started a project for archaeological understanding of Mahabharata and Ramayana. And they have started some of the site, digging up some of the site like Hastinapur and other, some Kaushambi and other site also, and they try to relate the archaeological finding to with the Mahabharata, and they have suggested that the painted grey ware, probably the painted grey ware culture is responsible for the Mahabharata. But now we have done so much of work, and recently excavation at Sinauli, excavation at other places, and many other findings even in Hastinapur and Kaushambi. So we try to relook the dates with the different parameters. Like Mahabharata, if you understand Mahabharata, the starting from 8,000 verses to 20,000 verses up to 1 lakh and more than 1 lakh verses. It's a long journey of Mahabharata, having so much of information inside. First, we have to understand the culture of Mahabharata. Culture of Mahabharata, like Mahabharata is heroic culture, we all know, having the urban settlement, particularly the Hastinapur or Indrapat or other Tilpat or some other places, having the urban kind of settlement. But in case of PGW culture, that is entirely rural culture. So there is no comparison with the urban settlement with the rural culture, as well as what are the components available in Mahabharata, like horse, the chariot, the weapons, and lot of heroes having expertise in many of the weapons or many of the different kind of warfare. And another thing, if you understand, there is more than 25, 26 places name is there in Mahabharata itself. And then what about the archaeology of other places? Because they are the contemporary.
Yeah.
They are also involved in the fighting in Mahabharata.
What other places?
Like the Krishna from Mathura. And even in the family, like Gandhari is from Gandhara. Panchali from Panchal. Jarasandh from Magad. Like that, there is a lot of diversity and family relation, political relation, everything there in visible in Mahabharata. So what we try to understand now, the archaeology of Hastinapur itself going back to around 1900 or 1800 BCE. Before the painted grey ware culture, there is culture named OCP, Ochre Coloured Pottery ware, along with the copper hoard. Copper hoard means that there is lot of weaponry we are got in many places, like sword, antenna sword, also a variety of sword in fact, and harpoons, double-sided sword, all made of copper. The ring, the anthropomorphic figure. So these are the high grade of craftsmanship, technological advancement you can see in that metallurgy. And along with that, particularly if I cite Sinauli, Sinauli is also located one of the strategic location which is mentioned in Mahabharata. That's a Bagpat, and after the Bagpat, you can cross the Yamuna and enter into the Diswatwati river and go to the Kurukshetra around. So that's actually right from the Hastinapur to Kurukshetra, the in between the Bagpat, where we got the Sinauli, and the finding of Sinauli clearly indicate that around 2000 to 1700 BCE, having a lot of very, very interesting material like gold ornaments. One bangle around 250 gram, the solid bangle. You can understand the culture, the wealth of the culture. You can, we have the silver object, we have the semi-precious stone, we have the weapons like antenna sword, helmet, chariot, shield, chest shield. So there is lot of things there in that context, and that is dated in around 1800s.
I am amazed at this. Thank you so much. This is such an interesting discovery. You're hearing it for the first time here. Dr. Manjul says that the Mahabharata, it can be definitively dated earlier than what it was thought to be. Earlier it was painted grey ware. Now he's talking about something called OCP, which is a copper culture, and which is very, very sophisticated. Lots of battle accoutrements, lots of jewelry that has been discovered at sites like Sinauli. Very interesting. Now I want to ask you at this point, because we are having this conversation, this culture that you are talking about, is it possible that this culture also had maybe a millennium or half a millennium run, and therefore the events that we see in Mahabharata also is a culmination? You know, there's a dynasty. You see that there are several generations of kings culminating in that war, right? So is it possible that the OCP, the digs that you have had and the stuff that you have unearthed actually is at a point where, but the civilization itself could be earlier than that?
Actually, if you see the lot of dates we have right from 2500 BCE, that is the contemporary of late mature phase or mature phase of Harappan civilization.
Correct.
We have a lot of sites in Ganga, Yamuna, Doab, and actually that mature phase of that culture, particularly OCP copper hoard culture, that is 1900 to 2000 BCE. That's a mature phase actually. And then contemporary culture, like in Mathura, we have that kind of deposit and evidences. In Mathura also, in 1800 BC, we have the evidences at Dwarika also. We have the evidence of Gandhar also. So we have the evidence of Magad also, Rajgir and all that. So that shows in that time there is a very, very flourished culture, particularly OCP and the contemporary culture. Like sometime it's called late Harappan, sometime it's called black and red ware, and because that is contemporary one. But in the core area of Mahabharata, like Kuru Vansh and Panchala, having the similar kind of OCP and copper hoard material. So the core area having copper hoard and OCP, but the peripheral area or other side having the contemporary culture. Because if you see in Mahabharata, every hero is having its own character,
that is true,
own expertise, own culture. So you cannot make a single culture or single pottery culture with Mahabharata. You can correlate with the other culture also.
Correct.
So that is the reason I strongly suggest that probably 18 to 1700 BCE the Mahabharata happened, but the Mahabharata culture is little before that. Like one example I can quote of Rig Veda. In 10th mandal of Rig Veda, there is references of the Dasragi Yuddha and other war also. In that war also they have used chariot and all that. So that and after the Dasragi Yuddha, there is few names that is mentioned in the Rig Veda, 10th mandal, and also the Mahabharata. So that continuity is also, you can see, that's a very clear indication that yes, there is a continuity of philosophy, literature, and with the Rig Veda to Mahabharata.
Way of life.
Yeah.